welcome Bill Apter. Great to see you again.
Thank you, and Coventry, thank you for this warm welcome. Once again, it's great to be here again. Are you all psyched for Universal Uproar? Do you want to have some Q&As? Can we find some people to do some Q&As with?
Yeah, well, you're in luck, Bill, because our first guest here this afternoon at Universal Uproar Fan Expo is none other than the star of ITV1 Celebrity Wrestling, Joe Legend!
Here he is, Joe Legend. Come into the hot seat, Joe. All right. We're going to fire away. We're going to start off, of course, before we turn it over to the folks out here, regarding celebrity wrestling. How did you get involved in that, and why didn't it work?
I got involved in it actually through Alex Shane. He put my name into the hat. ITV was looking to try and get some form of wrestling back on TV, but when it came down to it, using the term wrestling, when it was really more like gladiators, I think misrepresented the show. So that was probably the biggest problem with it. I still had a great time, and I got paid to hang out with Kate Lawler.
That works. That works. All right, let's start taking questions. Sean, are you out there? All right, first question. Raise your hand right out here.
What were your thoughts on celebrity wrestling as a whole? Was it a good idea to bother doing, or
was it a waste of your time?
Not the least. Like I said, I got paid well. I got Victoria Silstead, Kate Lawler, Leilani, any guy here could appreciate the fact, you know, gorgeous we're going to get to hang out with. That is not a crime. He wants to shine on the show.
Sign him up.
Second of all, I think even if it's just getting the attention of wrestling on the TV, even if it's not completely wrestling, getting things moving in that direction, eventually we'll hopefully get, with any luck, FTV or regular primetime spot and get British wrestling back to where it belongs on primetime TV.
You sure need that. Next question, please. Show of hands right there.
Hey, what's up, Joey? Just to say, what's your highlight of your career?
The highlight of your career, beside being here today in Coventry.
This question. I guess highlights, there's a few because I've gotten to travel a lot. Main eventing a show in Moscow, Russia was cool. Winning a world championship in Japan was great. Headlining pay-per-views. Accidentally punching Jeff Jarrett very, very hard.
Why don't we go into a little detail on that?
I may get sued.
Cut the cameras for this particular. No, go ahead.
This is a dark match. I think basically everybody here knows that. Are there any kids in? Okay, good. Jeff's a cop, right?
If there are any kids, he means like the rooster kind.
The red rooster, yeah. No, he's a guy who submarines people to try and elevate himself. He submarined me. I didn't like it. I threatened to beat him to death. And conveniently enough, I no longer work for TNA. Given the chance, yeah, I'd gladly give him a smack first chance I get. So I'm hoping FWA will book him so I can park him on the crew.
Not a Jeff Jarrett crowd here, is it? No. Next question. Next question. Over here, John. Are you very tall or are you standing up?
I'm upstairs.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I've heard that you live in Europe. What's wrestling like in Europe, like Germany and France and places like that, apart from America and the UK?
Good question.
I think wrestling is actually stronger overall in the European market. I love wrestling in Germany. I've been coming to England since 2001. I mean, English fans are probably the most rabid, nutty, crazy fans you could ask for, which I love. I love a rowdy crowd. I like crowds that go,
let's hear some rowdy. Come on. Give them what they want.
I mean, when you go to an American show and people, I mean, soccer or football is a prime example. When you see fans at an American game and they don't like a guy who's on the field, first thing, you suck. Whereas, you know, British fans actually get together, you know, you're gonna get your head kicked.
No, I've heard some of them go, you suck.
Or who ate all the pies. You know, that stuff is class. I mean, you guys have it together. I applaud you.
Next question. By the way, while we're speaking about British wrestling, why haven't you taken the FWA belt from Alex Shane yet?
I've wrestled him several times and I've beaten him several times. He's been able to kind of weasel by, but from what I'm told, November 26th in Broxburn, I should have another shot at the belt, so with any luck, I'll knock the creep out and take his belt.
Right over there.
If you could fight anyone, who would it be and why?
If you could fight anyone, who would it be and why?
Okay. I answered that question, didn't I? Is it anybody throughout history or president or all time?
Your favourite, who would you like?
Your dream match, I think that's what you're asking, right?
I don't know, there's so many guys, because I would say vintage Randy Savage. Oh yeah! Vintage Ric Flair would be great. I just think I'd really click in a match with a guy like Kurt Hennig or Bret Hart. Being Canadian, of course, I'm going to mention Bret's name. Of current people, I'd love to get in the ring with worldwide Kenta Kobashi, Kawada, and I would say probably Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit. Those would all be good. It's hard to pick one in particular because all those guys have such great things to offer in any match.
When you're not on the road and you watch wrestling, whose matches do you enjoy watching most?
Most of the stuff.
I'm glad you don't have a microphone.
For car crash value, I watch mostly, I mean, I get a kick out of watching a lot of the bad stuff on WWF. WWE, sorry. Mostly, I like watching a lot of the Japanese stuff. I have been watching a lot of the past FWA stuff. Paul Burchill impressed the heck out of me. I had him booked in Japan with me, so I mean, I really got to hang out and know what a quality guy is. I'm glad to see a great British talent getting a chance to shine in the North American market, which is only going to, you know, raise the visibility of the British talent. I like watching indie guys more so than big names, just because they seem to have a lot more passion for it. You guys know Aviv? I think Maayan's listening. That guy's tremendous. I could watch his match day night at wrestling. That guy's a tremendous talent. I could watch his match. Most of the FWA stuff I really enjoy. And I've been trying to play catch-up ball, watching their stuff too, because now I'm more involved in FWA. But yeah, I'd say I watch mostly either Japanese or European stuff, old Dynamite Kids, stuff like that.
Next question. Right
Yeah.
up here?
Okay, Bill, this is our last question because we're running short of time now with Joe.
Oh, boo!
What's your favourite type of match and why?
Say that again, please.
What's your favourite type of match and why?
Did you understand? Your favorite type? Could you slow that down? I have to trade it. His favorite type of match. And why? You translated it beautifully. Go ahead.
Yeah, subtitles. To watch or be involved in. To be involved in, I like basically long matches, long straight matches. I mean, they can get a little bit crazy. I mean, I appreciate everything that Sandman does with his hardcore stuff, by all means. And Raven, I love the hardcore stuff, but I also love the classical, you know, traditional Doug Williams style of wrestling. I mean, but basically, I like, the one thing I don't like is short matches. I've never been a fan of the real Goldberg 2-minute take it home. I like 45-minute, 50-minute classics where guys go out there and bust their ass for themselves as much as for the fans. That's what I like.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Legend.
place we stopped, so I got a camel filler right. We can always rip the filler.
I thought you were talking about some sex the other night because there used to be a TV commercial on about sex. Oh, well, it's a long story. I'll talk to you later about that. This is wrestling. It's about that camel commercial. We'll get into that later. First question from out there. It's a long story about that.
What's your best moment in ECW?
Your best ECW moment?
I can't define it to just one moment, but there's stuff like me getting my kid back from Raven, Funk out of the box, me caning Tommy Dreamer 10 times, anytime me and Sabu were in the ring, anytime me and Cactus Jack were in the ring.
Next question for Sandman, right here in the front.
Yeah, I just wondered, what's your opinion of Jody Styles commentating on Raw?
The best there is.
Period, the end.
Can you give us your side of the story of your match where Cactus Jack almost killed you with the frying pan?
Yeah, Cactus, you hear that? He knocked me out with a frying pan 4 minutes into the match, and to this day I've still never seen the match and do not remember it.
By the way, for those of you who ask, is that stuff fake? Cactus Jack against Terry Funk at ECW Arena. I got between the two of them while I was shooting pictures. Terry Funk says, after! Literally knocked me out, so they're real.
I thought this was my interview.
It is, I just got it right there. Next question.
What was your opinion of your participation in ECW One Night Stand? Was it to WWE or was it faithful to ECW?
It was just like being at home in that locker room with all my friends.
Okay. Next question. Back there, John.
Was there a defining match when you was younger that just said, I want to be a wrestler?
No, I wanted to be a wrestler ever since I was 4 years old, son. I grew up watching like Superstar Billy Graham, Bruno Sammartino, but no single match. I just know from as young as I can remember, I wanted to do what I'm doing now.
How did you morph into the Sandman character? How did this guy become Sandman?
Todd Gordon, who used to own ECW when it was Eastern Championship Wrestling, and then when it went to Extreme, he said, hey, listen, you sit in the back, you drink a case of beer, you smoke a pack of cigarettes, go do it at the ring.
And it worked. Next question.
One Night Stand, did you really want to go for JBL after you started on Green Menu?
No, I have no problem with JBL whatsoever.
Were you hoping there would be a problem with JBL?
No, I had no reason to dislike him, so.
Is there anybody you really dislike in this business?
Yeah, Cactus.
Sit down. I thought this was your Q&A.
How long have I known you? 15 years. 15 years. Tonight, we were trying to figure this out. Tonight will be the first time we've ever teamed up together. You're teaming with me. 4-man. 4-man. You don't even have to hang out with me. You don't even hang out with me. But you guys know better than us, right? 8-man tag. Yeah, we're teaming up tonight. Corino and Travell. The story with the frying pan is that it was a pretty regular thing in the ECW arena, which had a 99-cent store right next door. It was very common for the fans to spend about $10 each on as much cheap aluminum garbage as they could bring into that arena. So it was every week thing, or every time you went in there, you would end up getting a cheap object that you would then use on your opponent. And some, I guess, clever
ECW fan handed me an iron skillet, and I was about 3/4 of the way through my wind-up when I realized this was no longer a band. And he found it out shortly afterwards, and didn't wrestle for a little while. Right? Didn't wrestle for a little while. And
woke up at the hospital the next day not knowing what city I was in.
And we just had this conversation last night. We had a very interesting conversation last night. I said that when my Greatest Hits DVD came out, the WWE had picked out a bunch of matches, their suggestions. And I had some pretty good stuff there. They had me and Shawn Michaels and Ryan David and Undertaker, of course, and Hell in a Cell. And then I see on the list, Cactus Jack versus Sandman, Texas Death Match. Oh my God. And I said, have you guys seen that match? And they said, yeah. I said, you think he belongs in there? And they said, yeah, what was wrong with it? I said, the Sandman was unconscious for 10 minutes of that match. So Cactus backs me up within a corner. He goes, hey, it's time to light a cigarette. And I said, why the hell would I be lighting a cigarette? I'm going to wrestle the match. And then he came over and he said, I have no idea where I am. So some of you guys, when I know the Texas Death Match, not only have you pick your opponent, he has to stay down for a 10 count. The Sandman became like Jason from the movies. And no matter what I did to him, he was sitting out at about 4. So, Cactus hit me with his pad, run off the apron, hit me with the chair. Hit me 1, 2, 3. I was up at the 3 count after that. Hits me with another one. Picks me 1, 2, 3. I think I was up at the 2 count after that. Picks me up, DDTs me on the floor. I think I kicked out at 2. Picks me up, pile drives me on the floor. I kicked out at 1. Now, when they said, would you like us to find another match? Somebody might have the DVD, okay? Anyone have it here? Bring it up to me for just a second. See if it passes through. Anyway, go back and look at that. I'm telling you, it's exactly what you gotta stay out for 10 after the 3 count. And even Nancy Sullivan, Kenta Sullivan's wife, was mad at me. Cactus was mad at me. And because they thought I was working them. But little did they know, I had no clue who the hell I was. Here it is. The DVD says Greatest Hits and Misses. He didn't miss that guy. And when they said, would you like us to find another one? I thought about it and I went, nah, leave it on there. And when I introduced it, those of you seen it, I said, the Sandman and I had many great matches. Oh, good barbed wire matches. The latest I ever went to the ring, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, me and Cactus, it was 12:45 before the bell even rang for our match in Fort Lauderdale. I think the match was over at 12:46. That match is on there. It's like I said on the thing, we've had many great matches. This is not one of them. But I thought we should have an example of what things look like when things go wrong. But we got out of it and had a lot of great matches. And hey, if you didn't know that we were teaming up, I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to have some fun and hopefully all of you will as well. Yeah, everybody got a frying pan on. I'll get you that, Cat. Let's hear it from Mick Foley.
All right, some more questions for Sandman. Go all the way back there, John, right behind him. Let us see.
What's your favorite gimmick of all time?
My favorite gimmick, drinking a beer. That's a pretty good gimmick.
That's his trademark, so next one, over there.
What were you hoping for when you went to WCW?
Good question.
Money.
Good answer.
A shitload.
What was it like going from ECW to, hey, you can't do this and you can't do this, and WCW? ECW.
At first, I thought it was going to be like that. They signed me September 8th. September 9th, I got a $10,000 signing bonus, which was part of my deal. They didn't use me until like March 6th, so I sat home for like 8 months. Got paid $5,000 a week. And then as soon as Kevin Nash got the book, he got the book on March 4th. JJ Dillon calls me Sunday, March 5th, to be in Minnesota March 6th and bring everything he wanted to do as you were in the Sandman. Nash comes in, gives the State of the Union address, grabs me, pulls me aside, and he goes, because I was doing those vignettes with Ravens as like his rich friend, we were playing chess, shit like that, which was horrible. So Nash just said, listen, go out and do yourself.
That was it. Okay, next question.
Okay, Bill, it's the last question we've got here for the Sandman.
Do you think there'll be another WWE ECW pay-per-view, and were you as pissed off as we were that Dudley's got sacked?
They got sacked. To tell you the honest truth, I know nothing. I'm in this business, but I don't get on the computer. I don't listen to. I know nothing about what's actually going on in the wrestling business nowadays. So, that's the honest truth.
Okay, that was the last question. Thank you all very much, Shannon.
I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Bill Actor, and we are interviewing now classic Colt Cabana.
And the hot seat right here. That's the video. Oh, don't sit on my camera. You want to film these people? Wait a minute. Let me turn.
Show your moves!
Red button once you see it there. All right, you're on Cabana Vision.
Let's see some, come on!
Now can we get a young lady to do the same? No, anyway. Turn it off, baby.
All right, it's off.
All right. Now the first question that comes to mind, of course, is you were on WWE Heat. What's up with that?
Wow, you're now Shane Helms. What's up with that?
No, it's Gregory. Please.
Pardon me. Hey, I was just I think when does Heat air over here, guys? Well, that would make it Sunday Heat, wouldn't it? Yeah, so tomorrow after the big show, go home and what channel would that be? Sky Sports. And I get to wrestle Eugene, and it was a battle of wits, I would say. I don't know who the smarter guy in that competition was, I'll be honest.
Do you guys not like Eugene? How did Eugene crowd?
I think they feel bad for him, maybe. All right. Well, it was a fun match, and it was fun to be WWE, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of me there, or maybe not.
Now, a lot of people always say when someone like you or CM Punk goes to WWE that they're kind of compromising their values, you sold out, etc. Let's get the perspective from your point of view.
Oh, I think I didn't sell out. I think I bought in, to quote Alex Shelley. Well, you know what? This is my job. I'm a wrestler. Ring of Honor asks me to come wrestle for their company, and I love Ring of Honor. And WWE, you know, they asked me to wrestle for their company, so I wrestled for them. I have no problem with that. I'm really, you know, I'm just treat myself as a pro wrestler. That's what I love to do. So anytime there's an open ring, you know, and Colt Cabana's invited, I'm gonna go be there.
Great attitude. Great attitude. Let's have some great questions. First question for Colt, back there. All the way.
What do you think of CM Punk signing with WWE?
Let it be known that I hate CM Punk. No, you know, again, for those of you guys who don't know, you've been living under a rock, but me and CM Punk grew up in wrestling together, and we did everything together, and I am so extremely proud of CM Punk for achieving, you know, one of his goals of signing with WWE. And I don't know about you guys, but I totally see CM Punk being just a huge, huge star in the world of wrestling. So So God bless him, more power to him, and hopefully I'll see him up there. You know what I'm saying?
You have to understand from their point of view, and it's the right point of view, that if you get there, that's a weekly paycheck.
Yes, it's a weekly paycheck, but it's also a bigger auditorium, you guys are the diehards, and we love you guys. We love performing for you guys. But in that kind of arena, where you 20,000 or how many was at Wembley that one time, right? With bajillion people, now all these guys get to see these people, and we see CM Punk representing pro wrestling. Now maybe we can grab some more people, and we get some more people that can now see shows like this, and that can see shows like Ring of Honor. And, there's the true stuff of WWE where it's really, pure pro wrestling that we all love to do and you guys love to see, so.
John, right over here, gentleman in the front row.
What's the best rib you've ever pulled?
That would be the third one up on the right-hand side here. That's my best rib. I pulled that one in Vietnam. Viet Cong. A little bit of both. I don't know. Everyone wants to know, Colt Cabana's a prankster. Who'd have thunk, right? I like to pull a joke or two, have a joke, but, that's some of the stuff that was on the road. And, it's kind of the saying, what goes on the road stays on the road. So, maybe Lace will come with me on a road trip, then I'll give you the time of your life, maybe, I'm sure.
You got an open invite there. Next question, right over there, John.
What's your classic moment in ROH?
Classic ROH moment for you.
Classic, there's been so many, can I give you a couple? Is that all right? Oh, thank you. Bobby Heenan, managing for me. Bobby Heenan managed me and Nigel. He managed us in Chicago. And Bobby Heenan managed myself and Jimmy Jacobs. And then we wrestled Jack Evans and Roger Strong, who was managed by Jim Cornette. And those two were so excited to manage against each other that it was so nice to be, a part of that match. But they were so excited. They've done so much in wrestling that to come back, in their older years or while their career, how they've been in the business for 30, 40 years, and to be a part of that where they're actually so excited to be managing and managing us as wrestlers, that was a really great moment. Also wrestling CM Punk's last match on the independent scene, again, through all we've been through, it meant a lot to me. Man, there's so much. Those are two that really stand out. And I'm sorry, and my feud with Nigel McGuinness, wrestling him, and going in there and wrestling him and showing the American people how great the British style of wrestling is was a treat for me. Yeah.
Okay, next question for Colt Cabana. Next question, right over there.
And who have you learned the most from in terms of learning wrestling?
Say that again, please.
Who have you learned the most from in terms of learning wrestling?
Who have you learned the most from?
Yeah, there's two Americans up here, and we got a British guy drinking beer at the pub. I'm sorry that we have to ask you again, but he's Scottish even more. Who would have thought?
Do we have a translator here? Who's taught you the most in the business? That's what you want to know.
Well, fair enough. I was taught the basics of wrestling by my trainers, Ace Steel and Danny Dominion, and they not only taught me the basics of how to counter hold and how to take people down, but they also taught me the respect, how to respect and what to respect. Why I respect wrestling and the people that have come before me. Those guys have really laid great groundwork, and I really do credit my trainers. Along the way, there's been a lot of guys. I started off with Ian Rod. There's a guy in Milwaukee named Carmine Desperto. When you get in the Ring of Honor, there's even the promoter, Gabe Sapolsky, has taught me a lot. Ricky Steamboat came back there and really helped a lot of guys. Mick Foley's back there. The Sandman. When me and CM Punk were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania wrestling almost twice a month, the Sandman was always there. And he helped us out a lot. So, any of these guys that have been in the wrestling business and want to share, I'm the first guy that's going to ask, please share your wisdom with it. A lot of these guys do, help us out. share their wisdom. So Tracy Smothers is another guy. Robbie Brookside, while I was over here, was really cool. Johnny Kidd was especially cool. And you know, they're not afraid to share their wisdom with guys like me. It's always appreciated.
Good question, good answer. Next question. Right up front.
Now that there's a vacant spot on SmackDown, would you like the role that Christian had in the Peep Show?
You want to host the Peep Show?
I'd just rather have some of the divas give me a Peep Show. Is that wrong? Hey, if it's there, you know, maybe, who knows? I think I'd rather have good times, great memories, but...
Why not? Next question. Is the young lady?
Well, I'm at university doing a dissertation about wrestling, comparing it to dance and drama, and I wondered if you'd ever done any dance or acting training before you stepped into wrestling?
Have you ever had any acting training?
That's a great question. I was a ballet dancer.
Would you care to demonstrate the pirouette? No.
Maybe after the show. Good question. Again, my first and foremost love is professional wrestling. It is a wrestling aspect. But a lot of these guys, you know, you see me out there where maybe Chad Collier is very straight wrestling oriented, or you know, even some of these guys from the world of sports, you know, Steve Ray and you know, all these guys are very wrestling oriented. But when I did start wrestling, I have taken some training seminars in acting over at Act One in Chicago, which is a very infamous studio. It's kind of like, you know, how Chris Farley and Dan Aykroyd came from Second City. If anyone knows the Second City training, is comedy. So I went over to Act One, I've done some training over there, and that's just to make me a better performer. So it wasn't to get a job in a movie or commercials, but it would just be a better professional wrestler, whereas the, what do they call it, sports entertainment, the entertainment aspect of the sport, yeah.
You can't teach somebody how to cut a promo, really. You can't teach that in an acting school.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great point. It wasn't there to help. You know, I've been doing this for 7 years now, and obviously I started taking classes, you know, a year ago. So the natural. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say how great I am, but
go ahead.
All right, I am fantastic. But it is something. You know, that's why there's not many people succeed in wrestling. There's so many little spots in wrestling. You do need that natural, hey, I can go out there and I can talk in front of you people and I can, you know, move my lips and stupid stuff won't come out, you know. There is that need for that. So, you know, there's only a 1, 2, 3% chance or 3% population that, you know, that can do that sort of thing. So.
Don't need the mic. Next question. Right behind you, John. Right there.
In your opinion, in your experience, what's the hardest thing in working as a wrestler?
Hardest thing working as a wrestler is?
Well, I guess there's two answers to that, because you did say working, and that means when you're working as a wrestler, the working aspect is going from town to town, and I guess some people would say that the traveling would be a hard thing. I love the traveling. I'm 25 years old, I'm single, I'm young, I'm loving life, you know what I'm saying? As training and being a wrestler itself, obviously a hard part of it, you know, is the pain, is the beating that I took when I first started wrestling, when my trainers would stretch me out and show me the respect that I need for wrestling. And really, I would come home bruised, beaten, sometimes with you know, broken fingers or whatnot, bleeding most of the time. And then every day I hurt, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing this 7 years non-stop. Every day I do hurt. My neck does hurt, my joints do hurt, and your body will hurt from it. It's, you know, it's not ballet. I don't want to, no offense to the dancers here, but it's not ballet. This is a rough, rugged sport, and it puts a beating on your body, and that's really tough.
And when it's done right, and everybody's in the right shape and everything, it can be as good as a ballet where everything just clicks. Next question.
If you could do good times, great memories with anyone, past or present, from anything, who would it be?
What a fantastic question. I did have an opportunity to do a Good Times, Great Memories with Dusty Rhodes, which was blew my mind. He is a great personality. I'm going to name two people here. Roddy Piper, obviously, to contrast the Piper spit. And I would love to have the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, on Good Times Great Memories. Well, really, Boogie Woogie can see he's a creative man, and I bet that segment would just blow people's mind.
Next question.
Could you do a rap? You want a rap if you get Homicide? Could you do a verse, please?
Boy, they're screaming for that even behind us. We'll have a little rap roll. Who is that? Somebody back there. You didn't see anyone?
You want a little freestyle? Can Wonderful Willie give me a beatbox? I said, I'm Colt Cabana, and I'm here to say I love the UK. I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way. That's all I got.
Very vague. Anyway. And you can pick up a copy of that, which table. All right, next question. Right behind you, John.
Are you a legs man or a breasts man?
You tell me what looks better.
My fiance would like you to sign my breasts.
What was that?
My fiance, who I'm marrying,
Sign your tits!
would like you to sign my breasts. And it's
Not against it. I don't have a marker though.
Somebody have a marker? Come on! Come on, we need something to write with. Why don't you come right in the center here? Come on under. There you go. Okay. It's his birthday and you want your...
She's trying to tell everybody that it's for him. But we all know she's loving her some Colt Cabana. Get off, sweetheart, yeah!
All right, let me do the play-by-play. She has opened the...
Yes, that's it. Okay.
How important so
These look fantastic. Are those yours? I'm marrying that, right? Good for you, man. Here we go.
Somebody call Jerry Lawler. There's a puppies emergency going on. No, okay. I thought you were starting to write an entire book. Let's hear it for this beautiful young lady. Is that what they mean in this country when they call it tit for tat? Next question. One more. Last question. Last question. Right here.
What's your favourite type of wrestling? Cruiserweight, hardcore?
Oh, what my favorite style of wrestling you're saying. And, man, some people will watch me and say, hey, Colt's a great comedy wrestler. Some people will watch me and say, hey, Colt's a great technical wrestler. Some people will watch me and say, man, Colt sucks as a wrestler, But I think Johnny Spud would really say that. But my favorite style is just all around pro wrestling and every aspect of wrestling. When you take all those aspects, high flying, cruiserweight, brawling, comedy, and you put it all in one match, I think that really makes a fantastic match. And that really says, when you put it all together, hey, this is professional, right? It's not amateur, it's not Greco-Roman, it's not oil wrestling, it's pro wrestling, and that's what I love. When it's all comes together, I really do.
And you also do a hell of an interview. Ladies and gentlemen, Colt Cabana. Yes, Colt will be right over there.
Colt, I've got one more question as well for you. Do you have any classic Colt Cabana merchandise for sale today?
What
t-shirts, and a smiling face to say hi to everybody. I just happened to bring them.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So come on over and say hello. If you don't have money, then you're no good to me. I mean, I don't know, you and your crazy pounds. I don't know what's going on.
By the way, there's no relationship between you and Carlito's Cabana, is there?
No, except...
Then, Kenta Kobashi. Mr. Akiyama, go. Please come sit down. Your program back. Okay, gentlemen, first of all, welcome to the United States. Ben, you'll be, can we give... To the United Kingdom. I have severe jet lag, so yes, I did. Let's start off. Ben, why don't you formally introduce everybody here?
Well, obviously, no need for introduction. This is Kobashi, Kenta, or Kenta Kobashi.
No, you don't cheer, you go, hi.
Jun Akiyama. And Go Shiozaki.
All right, so now that we've said hi to everybody, let's see if we have some questions out here. John, you ready to take the microphone and field some questions? First question. Yes, you have a question. Do you speak English? And Japanese? You only speak English? Stand up, let these people see you here.
Kobashi-san, when are you getting married? I know you are single.
予定はありません。
He has no actual schedule, they have not set a date.
Why, are you single and available? Okay, next question. Okay, right there, John.
Hi, my question is to Kenta Kobashi, and I'd just like to know what was the main reason between the split between Noah, All Japan to form Noah in 2000?
As the translation is going on here, you may talk among yourselves. You do speak Japanese. That's very good.
まあいろいろな大きな問題がありましたけども、まあ意見の食い違いが一番大きいです。
So there was a lot of varying reasons, but the biggest one was mainly just a difference of opinion.
Would you ask them, each one of them, who their Japanese hero was, who they wanted to be like in pro wrestling when they were puppies? Not puppies, you know what I mean.
Giant Baba-san.
Giant Baba?
Jumbo Tsuda. Jumbo Tsuda.
Of course. Next question, please. Another question for our guests. All the way back there. Come on forward a little bit.
What's it like to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome, especially when Kenta Kobashi you faced Jonny Akiyama in 2004? What's it like to be able to...
So wrestling in the Tokyo Dome.
東京ドームで試合するのはどんな経験ですか？特別に秋山さんと2004年で試合した。その経験はどうですか？
すごくね、大きなところでやるのは緊 気持ちがいいです。でも大きいからといって、あれはベースボールのね、球場なので、まだプロレスの会場とは違うので、まあでも一つのいい経験にはなりました。
He says a great feeling. Obviously, it's a big place, lots of people. He said it doesn't quite compare with the baseball crowd in Japan, obviously, because that's where Tokyo Dome is baseball. But he says nevertheless, it's a great feeling.
I've been to the Tokyo Dome about a dozen times. It's a fantastic place. There's no place like that anywhere else in the world. Breathtaking. John, question over here.
This is to everybody. Do you feel there are too many promotions in Japan?
Are there too many promotions in Japan? Actually, how many promotions are there in Japan? Who knows? 38?
He doesn't know how many himself, but they all think that, yeah, there are too many.
All right, next question. Yes, right down there. All over there.
Kobashi-san, Akiyama-san, go shoot for. 大丈夫です。What did you think of the tag team match with Kobashi, Yoshito, Akiyama-san and Sonjay-san like that?
Did you get the question? We need your question again, please. Nice and loud.
What do they think about the tag match between Kobashi-san, Yoshito-san, Akiyama-san and Sonjay-san? How do you rate the match?
He said it was the first time he'd ever faced Kenya, so it was a great time for the first time. He said also he ended up with lots of scars on his chest after the chopping fest, as it were.
僕は小橋さんと試合するときはいつも最高の試合をしようと思っていて、今日も最高の試合をします。
He says he's always had great matches with Kobashi, so it really was, it was always going to be a good match.
そうですね、自分はいつも自分の試合、いつも試合の時は自分を出せたらなと思ってます。
Shiozaki also agrees. He thinks that, well, he said it's always a buzz to have any match at all.
Doug Williams, come on out over here for a minute. Let's hear it for Doug. Doug Emanian. You have competed against all three of these guys. How did they differ in styles and how tough are they?
They're all very different in styles. I'll start with Shiozaki at the end there. I mean, he's obviously only 1 year since his professional debut. Still very tough, but he's got a lot to learn, so, I've taken him to the cleaners a few times. Akiyama, he's much more technical, and he's had a lot more experience, so it's very, very tough, and I have to indulge in a bit of mat wrestling with him. And we all know about Kobashi's chops, so the more that I avoid those, the better. I'll try to keep away from them tonight, that's for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Doug. Hulk Hogan over here. Your question.
It's for Kobashi. How does he feel about being given the accolade Mr. Wrestling by Harley Race?
助けられたことどんなフィーリングなんですか？
すごく嬉しいです。
So he was very, very happy.
Next question. There we go.
This is a question for Kobashi. I was just wondering what you thought of his visit to ROH and especially working with Sonjay.
初めてね、サマー・ジョー選手と、試合をしたんですけども、すごくアメリカのファンのみんながね、温かく迎えてくれたんで、今日も、イギリスのね、ファンのみんなの反応をしっかり、期待します。はい、しっかりね、秋山純とダグ・ウィリアムスの胸にチョップの跡を残して、しっかり、自分のプロレスをやりたいと思います。
He says it's always a great experience wrestling in front of a new crowd for the first time, and also with a new wrestler like Samoa Joe. He said that it's just like coming here. He says he's going to really pull the stops out tonight. And as a parting shot, he's going to leave Akiyama and Williams' chest raw with chops.
You used the word raw, which brings another thought to mind. A question for me is that the WWE seems to be gaining a lot of ground, selling out very quickly in Japan. Do they consider it a threat that WWE is going to come in and try and run roughshod over the Japanese federations?
もう日本で第3もありますね。新日本、全日本、ノアもありますね。でもWWE は最近日本によく行ってるので、よくショーやってますので、日本の団体潰す可能性があると思います。そんな危機がありますと思います。
WWE が来ることによって日本の団体はノアは大丈夫です。
He says Noah's going to be completely fine, no threat at all.
僕らのレスリングをしっかりしていれば何も怖いことないです。
He says if everybody does their job properly, there's not going to be a problem.
そうですね。自分は自分のプロレスをやってるだけなんで。
He says whoever he's working for is going to do well.
Next question. Right there.
Hi there. I just want to thank all these guys for coming over to see us. And also, I just want to know, Kenta Kobashi, how the knees are doing, and how long realistically you think you have left in the business with your knees.
最初はみんなここ来てくれてありがとうございますって、特に小橋さんに対して膝の条件はどうですか、状態はどうですか、どのくらいキャリア残りますか、怪我の膝の怪我にかけてどのくらいありますか、キャリア残る。
膝の状態はだいぶ良くなってきました。
He just says his knees are fine.
Next question. It's a good answer. It's the truth. Next question, right over there.
To Kenta Kobashi, I was just wondering if there was anything else you felt you needed to achieve in your career. If there were any more goals?
もうキャリアで日本で大体タイトルのだいぶもう得たので、キャリアの残りに他の目標ありますか、残ってますか、タイトルとか。
いや、タイトルは別にタイトルとかじゃなくて、まあいろんなところに行っていろんな国で自分のプロレスをみんなに見てもらいたいなと思います。
He says in the way of titles, nothing left to prove, but he wants to go all around the world and bring the pro wrestling to everybody, bring the pro.
Okay, we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. Some hands way in the back that need to move to the front.
Are there any stars that you haven't wrestled yet to Kenta Kobashi that you would like to wrestle before you retire?
退職する前にまだ退職してないんですけど、小橋さんは退職する前特に誰かと試合したいんですか？あるスターいますか？
まだまだ読めません。
He says, doesn't matter who, really.
Open to all challenges. John, where are you? Right there? How about somebody else from the back over there?
This is to anyone. Would any of you guys like to tag with Brock Lesnar now he's in Japan?
Did any of them want to tag with Brock Lesnar?
日本で特にブロックレスナーと試合したいんですか？みんなで。
いや、別にそういうしたいとかいうもんじゃないですけど、はい。
Kobashi says doesn't really feel like he wants to.
僕は小林さんとやるのを期待してます。
He says he's just looking forward to fighting Kobashi-san next.
自分も期待してます。
Says he's looking forward to it too.
Okay, we have time for 1 more question. All the way back there, yes.
Last question for once Battle prepared well, right? Would you like to one time wrestle for TNA?
Who is that for?
Doug.
Yes. For Doug, we're looking all around for somebody. TNA.
I think very much so. It'll be a good experience to wrestle with TNA, especially now as they're getting more and more coverage on television over there. But of course, it throws up the old problems of I'd have to move to the States, get myself a visa and live there, and then I wouldn't be able to wrestle in front of you guys, would I? So, what choice do I have, eh?
Well, I want to thank all of you. On the count of 3, let's all say domo arigato. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Domo arigato. Thank you. Okay, let's open up right away for questions from these great fans out here.
Just for advice, personally for myself, if you would give advice for anyone who wants to be a professional wrestler, what would you give advice-wise?
The best advice I can say as far as the wrestling business goes is there's so many guys out there, even that's been in the business for 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, that still haven't had that shot to actually be on TV or actually make a living at professional wrestling. Just the key to ever succeeding and actually making it to a company where you can make a living is just you can't give up. I mean, there's going to be days. I know there was days for me whenever I was working indies before WCW, and I was like, God, I didn't go to college, and this is all I have. What am I doing? I'm not making no money. But then, just the love of the business and everything, you just got to keep going, man, because eventually the good comes out of it. And eventually, you're going to be at the right place at the right time, and you're going to shine. So, yeah, just don't give up.
Very similar to what Shannon said. You have to have the passion and the determination to make it in this business.
because you're gonna run into a lot of roadblocks, and if they stop you, you obviously don't have the passion and determination. So you really need that passion to keep going and actually go through the hardships that you're going to encounter in this strange, strange world. Huh, Bill?
Very much so. Never give up. Never give up. Next question. Next question. Right up front here.
Well, I've got one for each of you. Shannon, did you think you were underutilised in WWE as I've believed you were? And Sonjay, what was it like being top on Raw?
You know, there was two things that I wanted to accomplish in wrestling, I guess. Just being a kid, you know, watching WCW, like one of them was Starrcade. So I got the opportunity to participate in Starrcade and kind of get that one under my belt. The second was obviously, as any wrestler's dreams, WrestleMania. So I was able, while I was in WWE, I was able to accomplish WrestleMania not one time but twice. I was, in, you know, I was part of WrestleMania, and as I accomplished that, I wanted more for my career. You know, as far as being on TV, you know, I had that, this and the other, but you know, I really wanted to establish a character. I wanted to let the people know who Shannon Moore was, and I never got the opportunity to do that. And you know, for the 2 years that I was there, I just wasn't given the opportunity. There was a time where it came out just a little bit whenever me and Matt Hardy were, you know, we were an item together on TV, and that was the same effort. But after that, after Matt went to Raw, you know, they wasn't going nowhere with my character, and that's what I want to do now. I feel like I was underutilized as far as who Shannon Moore is as a person. I don't feel like none of you got to see who I am as a person. So now that I'm done with WWE, that's my goal. It's not no kind of pay-per-view, this, that, and the other. I just want to be able to show you guys, whenever you watch TV, who I am as a person. So.
It really was just another night, to be honest with you, so I don't really have any much. No, I mean, there's really nothing to elaborate on that. It was just another night.
Next question. Right here. Oh, right over there. We'll be right back to you.
This is for both of you. Do you both have a favourite moment or storyline in your career at the present moment?
Favorite storyline that you participated in?
Well, first TNA would have to put me in one for me to have a favorite one. But we did one with Jimmy Snuka last year, which was kind of fun, getting to work with Snuka and Roddy Piper. So that was real fun for me.
Believe it or not, but the 3-count days were actually fun. You know, like everybody approaches me and they go, you must have hated being in 3-count, but it was fun actually. I mean, at the time, you know, you had Britney Spears and you had the Backstreet Boys. Nobody never guessed there'd be a boy band in wrestling, so it was pretty neat, you know, especially I can remember one house show whenever me and Shane Helms and Evan were out there dancing on our green circles, and we'd already been out like 3 times singing and dancing, and people started throwing coins and peanuts and drinks and everything. We actually had to hold the green circles up to keep from getting hit with stuff or whatever, and then Sid Vicious come down and killed us, but yeah, the 3-count days it was an experience, and I had a great time with it.
Whose idea was 3-count?
Jimmy Hart's. Jimmy Hart was the mastermind behind 3-count. Yeah.
Okay, the birthday boy.
What would you say is the hardest move to perform and to sell to an audience out of all of them?
I guess the hardest move for me to perform is my finish of the Hindu press. It's so different from what you normally see, but I perfected it now.
I tell you, man, like my body's so hurt right now. Anything I do, it's hard for me. Like I just want to land safe and just walk away. That's all I ask for.
Next question, right over there, John. Actually, we promised this, gentleman. We'll get to you after him.
Sonjay, how did it feel to be Samoa Joe's first opponent in TNA?
It felt tremendous. I don't know, man. It was okay. It was a fun night, I guess. Samoa Joe was a big dude.
You must really hurt after wrestling him.
Yeah, because he's like, you know, like 500 pounds, and I'm like, you know, not even close to that. So it's a big difference.
All right, next question, gentleman over there.
This is a question to Sonjay. Who's the worst worker you've ever been in the ring with in TNA?
The worst TNA worker you've ever gone against?
Man, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been in the ring with anybody that bad. That's been like the worst wrestler or anything. No. Try?
What was that?
So, however, we have watched the match together.
Do you want to elaborate on this?
I'd rather not.
Next question. You had a question? The Undertaker over there. Okay.
This is to Shannon Moore. Do you think Mac can make the right decision to go back?
You know, I get that question a lot, especially like I did some radio interviews, and you know, just growing up with Matt, he's one of my closest friends and a guy that I can really trust. And you know, him and what happened with Amy was shocking because out of, you know, I guess just, you know, me and Jeff and all the relationships, like they were just alike. Like those two just fit like on TV and off of TV. And you know, after Matt went through that, you know, he got his release. You know, I feel like it sucked that they would release him for something like that. And obviously, you know, like a shoot turned into a work, and you know, they ended up wanting to bring him back and cash in on a, you know, something, you know, a real life situation. And it just comes down to business, and it comes down to money. I mean, and you know, anybody will do anything for the right price, you know. And I think that, you know, Matt was pretty much just looking at the money and cashing in on the, you know, what had happened. And but now I think he's kind of, you know, like, my opinion is I wish he would have went to TNA because he could have did what he wanted to do in the ring and behind the scenes because he's got a great business mind. And I'd have much rather seen him go to TNA, but he made the decision for a reason, you know.
Okay, next question. How hard is Vince McMahon to work for?
I think I talked to him once the 2 years I was there, actually. Now, he's strictly business, man. What you see on TV is pretty much what you get. I mean, you know, he tries to run the intimidating, you know, he's the intimidating type guy. He's just got a vibe that comes off of him. He just wants to rip your head off instead of work with you, it seems like. But yeah, he's strictly business. Every time you see, man, it's just, you get that business vibe. That's pretty much Mr. Man.
Question over here, John. Gentleman with the hat.
Just a general question. Why do you think WWE, the cruiserweights are so underused back in the TNA, especially with the X division? That's basically one of the main mainstays of the company.
Well, WWE, you know, it goes back to the big guy. You know, like, I mean, Vince McMahon, he's always booked his shows around the bigger guy, the 270-pound guy, the jack guy. He believes that that's the money, that that's the main event, and that's just the way it's always been there. However, you know, like, you've got agents there like Dean Malenko and guys like that that's tried to push for the cruiserweights and actually try to put the cruiserweights on the map in WWE, but it just, you know, I think Vince just, he don't think there's money in it. However, you know, TNA, they've shown that, you know, that the smaller guy can showcase and the smaller guy can be the main event. I mean, you had AJ Styles as champion there. You know, you had X Division matches as the main event. I mean, I remember watching one pay-per-view where, you know, it was Ronald Reagan for the world title, I think, and, you know, but they went ahead and they put the X Division on last as the main event. And that right there speaks that, you know, they really believe in the smaller guys and in the cruiserweights, and they believe that, you know, they can actually, you know, draw money for the company. So I think it's a good thing. I think the TNA, they're on track, and I think the shows can continue to grow, and that's competition. To me, I watch the shows, TNA is competition right now.
Okay, John, the gentleman up there had his hand up for a while.
But when Vince seems to be getting rid of people like yourself and Charlie Haas and then re-employing people like James Gibson and Spanky, where do you see the cruiserweights actually going in the WWE? To TNA or what?
Well, I know that's where I want to go, but as far as, you know, them rehiring Jamie and Spanky, they're tremendous athletes. Those guys are awesome. But to me, a personal opinion is those guys are going to do the same thing that they did whenever they were there before, and the same thing that I did whenever I was there. They're just going to be thrown out there to make the bigger guy look good. I mean, I think they'll have a better career at TNA, you know, and but, you know, it's, like I said, they're going to get a weekly paycheck, so I guess that's what it's all about with some people. But for me right now, I'm ready to take my career to the next level, and I think TNA is the place.
Right in the center, John.
This is a question for both of you. Has there been a point in time where you felt like you had a bad match, where you got injured in a match, and you considered quitting the business? And if so, what or who made you reconsider coming back?
I've never considered quitting the business, but I have gotten injured in matches that's, you know, put me on the sidelines. I never thought that I would quit the business, but I knew that it was going to stop me for a little bit. But you know, as soon as I would recover from that injury, I would get right back in it. I think the times, my most serious injury was when I dislocated my elbow, and I think that when I had time off recuperating from that, it was just more motivation for me to come back and come back stronger and better than ever. But I never ever considered quitting the business.
What about you, Shannon?
There's never been a match or nothing like that where I've considered quitting the business. To me, it's always been more personal issues. Like, I don't know, just being on the road with WWE, you know, I felt like I had so much more to offer, but, you know, they wouldn't give it to me. And it kind of got me down in a way. And then on top of that, you know, like my dad had passed away at one point, and, you know, that had me messed up, you know, traveling on the road a lot. And I was just really down, but it just took, you know, I had a friend that I would travel with that's behind the scenes that you guys wouldn't know about, but, you know, I'd go to that friend or whatever, and they really brought me up, you know, they're like, look, you know, you need to get your head on straight, you're not thinking right, you know, it's time for, you gotta get back to the old you. And sometimes it takes that person, and it takes somebody to go, hey, dude, you're good, you know, you just gotta keep going, you can't give up, like I've said before, so it takes that initial push sometimes to actually keep you going.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. Gentleman right over here.
Yeah, it's just more of a general wondering for Sonjay. How come TNA called Austin out of today with you?
I had a different contractual situation with them, which enabled me to be here. So, but I actually fly out 8 a.m. tomorrow morning and get straight to Orlando, so it should be a fun day.
Does the traveling get to you sometimes?
It definitely does get to me, but you know, it comes with, it's just part of the game. You know, it comes with the territory. I've learned to accept it and learn to deal with it and make the best out of the situation. But you know, it gets to you, but you know, you have to do it. It's nothing that you can get around. So you know, I try to make the best of the travel situation always.
Last question, John. Let's see if we have somebody who hasn't asked one yet.
Shannon, do you have any to /Stixx's tournaments?
Would you say that again, please?
Do you have any to /Stixx's tournaments?
Can you translate, John? We can't understand this on this.
Do you have any idea who slashed Edge's tyres?
Oh, why didn't you say that in the first place?
Actually, that's a funny story too. I actually got a phone call about that as far as being the suspect that slashed Edge's tires over the whole deal. But actually, at the time that Edge's car was being vandalized, I got hit head on at 50 miles an hour by a drunk driver, so I had a police report to back me on it. So yeah, that was completely a false rumor because, and even Matt was there with me because he was following me. So on the police report, Shannon Moore and Matt Hardy is at the scene of a crime or a wreck as Edge's car has been vandalized, just so everybody knows.
Thank you, Sonjay Dutt, Shannon Moore, and we'll see you tonight. Mick Foley! Well, you want to say something to these people here?
Man, thanks for being in that line, but like Bill said, there's a lot of other wrestlers around there, so please go around and see them while we're doing this Q&A, and then we can reform the line
talk the promoter into letting me sit at a table during the show, because I'll be honest, I don't mind taking your money. If there's a line, I'll do it, man.
Are you glad to be back here in Coventry?
I think you mean that I'm glad to be back right here in Coventry, UK. Yeah, this is cool. I think you guys know WWE's running a show here in about 10 days, so, you know, it was not as if my coming here was a particularly good thing when I talked to WWE, but I gave my word 5 months ago. I had a great time. I was here last time. I even decided to, I was going to say put on the boots, but I'm just going to lace up the sneakers and get in the ring right here in Coventry, UK.
I get to manage your team tonight, by the way. All the years I've known you, I've never done anything like that. And would you like to introduce you brought your friend today?
Yeah, it's kind of odd. For many of you who know, Mr. Sacco, he's either really well loved or completely hated, depending on where in the world we go. And as it turned out, in a little part of Philadelphia known as the ECW Arena, Mr. Sacco received a rude reception. But hey, it's easy, it doesn't hurt, and a lot of the fans are going to like it. So I think you're going to see a little performance by Mr. Sacco.
There's Sacco fans here. Let's start taking some questions. John, right to the side over there.
Yeah, what was it like working with the Undertaker during your King of the Ring match, the Hell in a Cell match?
Oh, cool, yeah. You know, yesterday I was on a show in Wales, and there was this huge Undertaker fan. He was going, I just got to thank you for everything you did for Taker. You revitalized his career. And I said, hey, you know, it worked both ways, because the truth is, and as you see by the guys who come up here who have a lot of talent, but maybe don't get the best gimmick in the world when they join up with WWE, sometimes you only get one chance to make a first impression. So if I'd come in with this new character, Mankind, work with somebody other than The Undertaker, who wasn't interested in doing business and making us both look good, then, you know, my run there may have been very short. So I will always owe a debt to The Undertaker. I thought he was great. And every single time I was in the ring and I heard that bong, I'd get those goosebumps. Now, granted, if I heard the motorcycle rev up, like with the new versions, it wouldn't be quite the same, because in my heart, I always like The Undertaker, you know, who turned the lights off and all that type of thing. But he's always cool, and we'd like to do one more match with him before I'm done.
Okay, next question.
Mick, how did you feel when Ric Flair called you a glorified stuntman and was broke?
I felt proud to accept that honor on behalf of all the stuntmen who work hard and are not glorified. You know, that was part of what I did, but there was a lot more to it. If it was just a case of being a stuntman, then you'd have stuntmen doing what we're doing. You know, at one time they thought, hey, we could just hire actors and teach them to wrestle, and we know that doesn't work. So I did do some stuff, I guess it could be categorized as stunt work, but there was more to it than that.
We've got, go ahead.
With Vince bringing out all the best DVDs, are you a bit worried that might be the best Al Snow DVD?
Am I worried that there will be a best of Al Snow DVD? I'm worried that if it comes out, it's going to be awful damn short.
Right in the center there, John.
What's your favourite Al Snow put down that you've ever used?
You know what, I told this story in the car. It's a little bit lengthy, but we go back to The Undertaker here. He's going to play a little role in this story. And there was a time when Al got hit with like 5 chair shots. It wasn't a match, but it was some type of melee among all the guys in the hardcore division. And Al appeared to not only not be looking like they hurt, but he looked like he was laughing them off. 5 in a row, and he was like, I guess. He got to the back, and I mean, when The Undertaker chews you out in the dressing room, you know you've done something wrong. Al felt so bad about it that he asked me not to make fun of him about it in front of the boys. So I would make fun of him in the car. I would say, like, yeah, we're going to have a new match, Al and The Undertaker, and the no cell in the cell. And then I said, yeah, Al, this is when my book was out. I said, yeah, you and I ought to team up as the sellers, best seller and no seller. And it was a good put down, but it was also a, I guess, you know, I I went back on my word because JR interviewed me for Mr. Sacco's birthday. And he said, congratulations, Cagnus, or Mankind, on the birth of Mr. Sacco. And I said, hey, the guy you ought to be congratulating is Al Snow for the lucrative endorsement deal he just landed with the Lazy Boy Furniture Company. Which is strange because Al doesn't usually sell chairs. And then Al, thank you. As a result, Al felt compelled to try to get me back, and he did color commentary the next day. He got chewed out by both Vince and Shane for ruining a storyline by going out of his way to get me. So I said to Mr. McMahon, I'm sorry I'm using your show as a personal vehicle, to play jokes on Al. And he said, Mick, it's okay when you do it, but Al's not funny. So I think that's my favorite Al Snow put down. The fact that I got him bad on national TV, he tried to get me back, he sucked in doing it, and then got chewed out by Vince, who also then gave me permission to continue doing it on TV.
Hi, Mick, sorry, just before we move on, oh, easy there. This guy is called Rob, and it's his birthday, so will you be kind enough to say happy birthday?
I'm going to give you the Bill Murray happy birthday version, okay? It goes like this. It's kind of groovier than the real happy birthday. It just goes like this. Give me a start snapping your fingers. Birthday, you. Birthday, you. There you go.
And you can never get a better birthday, well, just one other way, but you can never get a better birthday present than that. John.
Oh yeah, Mick, going back to a question previously, Flair versus Foley, is it going to happen, and when?
I'm going to go on record as saying I sat in the crowd for that match with Triple H and Flair. I sat kind of where I was hidden up where the computer monitors were. And I know some people thought it lacked for crowd heat, but I thought it was one of the best matches I'd ever seen live. I mean, to me, Ric Flair looked like he lost 15 years during the course of the match. He looked like a younger guy when that was done. I don't know, there may be a Flair match. If it was done the right way. The problem is, and you guys are about to see this tonight, I suck in the ring. Did you see my match with Carlito? All right, it's not exactly main event performance stuff, but if I were to get in the type of shape I was when I worked with Randy Orton, and drop 50 pounds or so and really work on it, then, if we had a storyline and I felt like I could deliver the goods, then maybe we'd do it, but I wouldn't hold your breath, But I did read somewhere, I'm assuming he really said it, that he wanted to work with me at WrestleMania. So if I got the go-ahead and said Flair and Foley for WrestleMania, I would try to get in real good shape and give fans like you a match that could live up to the expectations.
What would you have to do to get in real good shape?
What would I have to do to get in shape? Well, the weight is the big thing, but also, my knees are real bad, so it's kind of a tricky thing, and I have to work hard without putting a lot of stress on the knees. So, for those of you guys who read Triple H's bodybuilding book, Making the Game, anyone? I believe in a very low rep, low weight routine. That's something I came up with, and I'm going to go with it.
Okay, next question.
David, I read on the internet that you were offered a deal by TNA Wrestling. What factors came into your mind when you decided to sign with WWE?
Hey, did you have a deal with them?
I did have a deal on the table with them. I just want to make this clear, because I read Power Slam did an article I thought was real derogatory, where they took a lot of shots, not just at me as a wrestler, but as a person. And I like Power Slam. I think it's a good magazine, but I think whoever did it was kind of malicious. There were 3 points I want to get to. One said that I reneged on my verbal commitment to TNA. The truth was, from the moment I talked to TNA, I said, no matter what, I will have to call Vince McMahon, and there's always the chance that he'll make me an offer I can't refuse. And Jeff Jarrett, who I was talking with, said, and we will fully understand if you have to take that. So in the end, TNA was great to deal with. I was looking forward to doing some of the creative stuff I talked to him about. The money was not nearly what WWE was offering, but I thought it did offer a situation to kind of jump in and make a difference with a new group, because I do think wrestling needs competition. And I convinced myself that by going to TNA, I'd actually be helping Vince McMahon. Now, try to imagine Vince's reaction when I told him that on the phone. So in the end, they did, WWE never went up with their money offer, but Vince made some concessions that he wouldn't normally make, which are going to allow me to really enjoy myself the next 3 years. That was one thing. The second thing was they said I phoned in my commentary at the ECW pay-per-view. My feeling is, maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't, but it wasn't like I wasn't trying to do my best. It wasn't as if Joey was doing play-by-play and I was sitting there going, I've got some really great commentary, but I'm not going to use it here. So I did the best I could, and the third thing they said is that for Mick Foley, it's always about the money. Now, today that is the case, okay? There are times, you do stuff and you make a living and you have 4 kids and you have to send them to college and all that. You need to make some money, but I'd say very few things I've done in wrestling have been purely about the money, and in that case, I think if you were to compile a list of top guys who would even consider jumping ship for half the money, it would be a very small list. So I thought that article was unfair, and if somebody from Power Slam wants to talk to me about it, and has the, temerity to say I wrote that, then I would be glad to talk to them about it. But I thought it was an unfair article from a magazine that's usually pretty good.
All the way up in the balcony there, that gentleman's been holding his hand up for quite a while.
Mick, I just wanted to know which up-and-coming wrestlers you particularly enjoy watching, particularly on the independent scene.
Well, part of the reason I was so interested in going to TNA is because, with the exception of that run I had where I did this stuff at WrestleMania and Backlash with Randy Orton, I spent a lot more time with guys from Ring of Honor and TNA, and I thought not only were they great performers, but they really loved the business and deserved a chance to be able to show what they could do. And so, a couple of the guys I was real high on were Samoa Joe, who's now with TNA, CM Punk, who's now with WWE, and I've mentioned this before, I'm not just saying it because they're here. I think Colt Cabana would be a great fit for WWE because he's got that personality, and I said, if an agent from WWE were here and he just heard the Q&A here and he saw how natural he was and how humorous and how charismatic, he might end up with a deal just based on the Q&A. Another guy, and I'm not just saying this because if I don't, he might attack me, it's Homicide. I really think he would light up, whatever they call it in WWE, but if they wanted to go with cruiserweights, and I tried to make this case to WWE, I said, man, we got this huge Hispanic audience, but it's not comprised entirely of Mexican Americans. You've got Homicide who could really appeal to a whole different section of the Hispanic audience and get over with the regular audience as well. I think the only drawback to him is people think he's out of his mind. And I was one of those, and Gabe Sapolsky from Ring of Honor said he's been nothing but a pleasure to work with. So then I volunteered that, and hopefully something will come of that. But there's so many other guys, you hate to leave out names because up and down the Ring of Honor cards, everybody's good. I mean, from Jay Lethal to Roderick Strong to the guys who set up the Ring Crew Express. So if you guys have not seen Ring of Honor or TNA, I encourage you to do it, while at the same time not giving up your WWE viewing habits.
What happened?
Rumours circulating that you pushed the scene points going to WWE. Also, apparently pushed the Samoa Joe to go in. Can you confirm or deny that and say about Samoa Joe? You pushed the Samoa Joe to go into WWE?
Oh yeah, I did push the Joe.
Can you tell me who made the final decision that said no? Was it Vince or was it?
No, I think the final decision was Joe's. I think for Joe to work out really good in WWE, they'd have to approach him in a unique way, portray him as unique talent, which he is. And I don't think you can just throw him on heat a couple times and expect him to get over. So Joe, in the end, made his own decision. He went to TNA where he thought he'd have a better chance, and it may very well be the right decision. But yes, I can confirm that I pushed for Samoa Joe.
At time you choose the adult figure glove as the one of the three faces of Foley, which one would you prefer to be, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, or Mankind?
Wait. You're telling me that you voted for Dude Love? You were the one. You know what? I don't want to say I cheated, but about 3 days before the pay-per-view, I'll tell you what, I could not find a single damn Dude Love item. And I believe a few years ago, thinking that, okay, maybe I'll come back every now and then, understand that, but thinking there's no way in hell I'll ever come back as Dude Love. I gave away all my Dude Love stuff, because I couldn't find a single thing. So they were kind enough, although not letting me know who was winning, to let me know that Dude Love was not in the running. And I don't want to say I fixed the competition, but I made sure when I did my promos that the Dude Love one wasn't very good. Because I didn't want him pulling it out with a fantastically cool promo at the end.
Okay, next question.
Hello. What's your most painful experience in the ring?
Your most painful experience in the ring?
Most painful experience, like emotionally? Physically?
Physically.
You know, I'll give you the real answer and then I'll give you the cooler answer, okay? The real answer is I tore an abdominal muscle and I dropped an elbow off the ring apron on Ron Simmons at the Clash of the Champions about 11 years ago. But that didn't look painful, you know? I guess, you know, having 2/3 of my ear ripped off was both painful and looked painful as well. So we'll give you the goriest injury and the honestly most painful injury.
So by a show of hands, which Mick Foley do we all like best? Mick Foley? Cactus Jack? Dude Love? Mankind? Next question.
What do you feel about Bertrand's push on SmackDown when they've taken away all his high-flying moves?
Well, I guess because I'd never seen his high-flying moves, I didn't know they'd taken them away. You know what? It's nice if they know somebody can do it, and they might want to hold it back for a special reason. You know, I know the very first day I came to WWE, to the TVs where I was going to debut, Gerald Briscoe came in, and I can't do it. Do you do a Briscoe imitation? What a great imitation it would be if you could do it. If I just comb my hair over the side like a 1950s astronaut, get huge crooked ears. Gerald Briscoe said, now, Cactus, we know you like to do a lot of that crazy stuff, and there will come a time when we'll ask you to do that, but now is not the time. So, as you guys probably saw, I did get a chance to do that stuff, and hopefully it'll be the same in his case, you know, but maybe they want him to be able to get over with a personality and his wrestling ability and then add this stuff later, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, we have a question in the balcony here.
Hi there. As you probably know, there's lots of rumours on the internet, and I wondered how you felt about the one involving you and the entire cast of the Playboy Mansion.
I want to hear this one.
What's the rumor?
Whatever you want it to be.
No, I had not heard that rumor. I've never been close to the Playboy Mansion, although I did, and this I swear, it's not a cheap plug for my book because it's not even available in the UK, but I did make the kids' interest, the kids' love interest, Miss November 1975, Janet Lupo. And so for me, you know, if I were to see Playboy Playmates or like comic book conventions, I go right past like the current ones, the 20 and 21-year-olds, and go right for the 55-year-olds. Who meant a lot to me when I was in that, you know, stage where I had a lot of hormones going on.
Have you seen Over 40 magazine yet here? Next question. Right there.
Hi, Mick. In the ECW, when you do your anti-hardcore shit promos, do you actually miss getting the freedom to actually talking like WWE and just say what you really want to say about fans and how you're actually treating?
You say, do I miss getting the chance to say what I really want to about the fans? Yes. Well, you know what made those promos in ECW so good was I was just speaking the truth You know, I mean, now I look back and I'm like, ECW bands, I love those guys. But man, they were pretty bloodthirsty, you know? So I was able to kind of take what I felt in a way and then turn the volume way up and then, you know, and then you make what I apparently was some pretty good promos out of it. The problem is now is I like everybody. It's hard for me to really get ugly on a promo, you know? I mean, I pulled it out of myself, you know, with those Randy Orton things, but it'd be hard for me to act like I'm really mad because I'm very seldom mad at all.
You are a promo genius. In WWE, did they come to you and put every word down on paper, or did they say, this is what we're looking for? Take it, Mick.
Only on a couple of occasions, and after I did it, they said, you know, we're just going to give you points on what we want you to get across. Because you don't want to go out there without some type of agenda to get across. But they always just gave me what they call bullet points and then let me Foleyize it. So that was always a lot of fun. And I always maintain that it will come across better, you know, if it comes out of your own mind and heart and then mouth. Which does, but then I tell the guys, look, if it's going to be scripted, then at least learn it and make it your own the way an actor would. So it's not as if Robert De Niro goes up and creates his own dialogue, but when he gives that dialogue, it's his, you know what I mean? So sometimes I do feel like guys are trying to memorize their stuff instead of trying to really reach the audience.
Next question, John, over here.
What's next for you, Mick? Obviously, you were talking about your knees earlier. What are WWE, what are you going to offer? What have they got you for the 3 years? What have they got you doing?
Well, you know, it's just 2 matches a year, and they can kind of pick which ones they want. So, you know,
matches, serious or novelty matches.
Well, it's whatever they want. You know, I mean, if I think they were going to put me in another match at the Survivor Series, but I think they realized why not hold back and do something, you know, maybe big at WrestleMania. So, if it was, I mean, I think it's a smart choice. They've got me for 2 matches a year. They might as well make the most out of it. Will I be on weekly shows? I'll only be on the shows needed to kind of build up the matches, but I told them if they want to make me a non-wrestling character again, you know, that I'd be open to that.
Okay, John, let's see somebody on this side, back there.
And then I put in an application to become Stacy Keibler's personal assistant on the road. Yeah, I did.
Of those legs.
I know at the start of all these groups you mentioned that you'd done a screenplay for Have a Nice Day. I was wondering if that went any further.
Where is that?
When I wrote the screenplay to Have a Nice Day, I thought I was making magic. And you guys ever see Beyond the Mat? By Barry Blaustein, who's become a good friend of mine. Barry had a script for a movie called The Ringer, which is about a guy who enters the Special Olympics and fixes it in order to win money. And it's now coming out in Christmas time in the States. I don't know if it'll be out here. It's actually very funny. He gave me that script at the exact same time that I got mine back from the printer, because I just hand wrote it out. I got it back from the printer, and I was on a long flight from Florida to California with both scripts. And I started reading mine, and I thought, man, this isn't as good as I remember it being. And then I started reading the Ringer, and I thought, this is a lot better than mine. And I went back to mine, and I said, this is really bad. I went back to his, and bottom line of the story, I know we're kind of short on time. One of our former writers said, you know, how's that script coming? I said, man, you know, it kind of sucks. And he goes, you see, you have got a talent that most writers will never have. The ability to be objective about your own work. And I said, so you mean it takes a good writer to know whether writing sucks? And he said, exactly. So I guess I must be a good writer because I know my screenplay to Have a Nice Day sucked.
Who would play Mick Foley if you were not available for the part?
Do you know who really wanted to make the film? I don't know if you guys know the name over here. He did Mad TV for years, was Will Sasso. And Will Sasso apparently does a better imitation of me than I do. And apparently he was actually training to get into shape for the role of me. That's kind of sad for the guy who trained to be me, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But there is a screenwriter named Paul Haggis who won an Academy Award for $1 Million Baby, and he's interested in Tatum Brown, which came out a couple of years ago. So somewhere along the line there might be a movie based on something I did, but I doubt it will be Have a Nice Day.
The last question. Pick it, John.
You've seen a lot of people over the years. At the moment, if you could pick one champion to represent every promotion, who would that be?
The one world champion to represent every promotion.
You mean of the current wrestlers? Is Vince going to watch this tape? All right, I'm not going to tell you his name. I'm going to tell you it does contain 3 H's in it. Hey, you know, Triple H, I think Triple H is a great champion. And I mean, it's an implausible question because it will never happen. But I think if there was a touring champion, like back in the days when WWE had their champion, but the NWA champion went all over the world, I would pick Samoa Joe just because I've seen him have. Just because he works really good matches with a variety of opponents and brings out the best in them, and he's able to let those guys bring out the best of him. So, I mean, it's one thing on our TV show to have our champions who are seen around the world, but as far as a guy going around the world, taking on all different people, not just WWE people, I'd go with Samoa Joe.
Well, we are all out of time. Mick Foley, we will see you in the ring this evening. Thanks for coming back to Coventry.
Thank you, and this might sound weird, but I get a lot of letters. The greatest letter I ever received was from a young lady in the UK named Chloe. And in response to her 10-page letter full of emotion and beautiful artwork, I gave her like a quarter-of-a-page email that said, "Got your letter, thanks a lot, liked it." That was only like the second email I'd ever given, so cut me some slack. But if she happens to be here, please introduce yourself, because that letter was much appreciated. And I would like to buy some of her artwork. She's got a cool thing of me and Terry Funk in a field with a baby playing the drums in the background. So, and I think she's got a website, and it's really cool stuff. So if you guys want to get some of that, Chloe is her name. Then if she's here, please introduce yourself, all right? Anyway, this is going to be great. Like I said, you know, for those of you who don't have a chance to get the line and get the autograph, I'm going to try to let them get me to set up a table. And I'll do what I can in the ring, you know, and hopefully we'll have a good match. For those of you who don't know, I've known Sandman 15 years. It's the first time we will ever teamed up, as far as I know, which is pretty cool. So we're looking to have a good match, but don't be too hard on me, okay? All right, thanks a lot, and have a nice day.